Yo, 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 what is going on, people? Welcome to Throwdown Your Questions, episode 540. I'm your host, Tony Polanco, and tonight I'm joined by Emilio Lopez,
Sup, people? How's it going?
Carlos Romero,
Yo, yo, yo.
Brett Murdoch,
What's up, party people?
Richard Bailey Jr.,
What's up, everybody?
and Brian Manjoma.
What up, what up?
All right, guys, we're back with another one. No Chris action. He's exhausted. He has like a trip to go to some work trip. But he said he'll be back on Thursday for some pre-July 4th shenanigans. So look forward to that. And Adam is probably doing TV Terminal because every day's TV Terminal night for Adam now. It's crazy. Again, one of the running jokes we have on Throwdown, and I think we may have done it on the air too. It's always like Adam went from being like, I can't do any podcasts, doing all the podcasts, how quickly things turn, but hopefully he's having fun. And he's doing, very successful podcasts. So, shout out to him. Anyway, let's get into it, man. We got this podcast to do. Throw down your questions. And you guys definitely threw us some questions this week. Special thanks to Jay Shep, too. He threw a lot of them, so a lot of sponsored ones tonight.
the opposite of last week.
Last week, listen, I got to give us credit. We took that one question, we drank that motherfucker out for 50 minutes before we got to like one we just made up on the spot. And that was I would call it a B-side question. I would always put that on the back end of the show. Like, what's Ken Levine's game up to? Normally it would have been like, man, we don't know, but we just stretch it out. That's what's called professionalism, Anyway, let's get into it, man. Jay Shep starts us off. And this is the first of 3 Death Stranding questions we got tonight. So I'm putting them all together. First one, will Death Stranding sell more than 3 million copies on PS5 in 2025? Difficult to say. Difficult to say.
Difficult one to say.
I feel like 3 million is a pretty low bar.
Yeah, I'm going to say this, though. Manny and I talked about this before the last show. I was surprised by this because remember when Death Stranding first came out, it didn't do that well, right? But apparently over the past 5 years, it has sold 20 million copies. So on average, obviously some years are going to be better than others, but on average, you could say it sold 4 million a year. That's pretty, like a lot of games don't get that. That's pretty good. So there is I would say an interested fan base. So I'm not going to say will sell 3 million copies this year, but it can.
I mean, I definitely
Does it have to be this year?
That's what the question is for 2025.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Go ahead, Manny.
I mean, it depends. It all depends on how, what it is. I mean, to be honest, I would say it would just be whatever the original Death Stranding did. And then, he does like he did last time. He just slowly but surely does updates and puts it on another console or another platform or something like that, kind of like what he did with the original. He does currently own the rights to all of Death Stranding currently, so he can do whatever the fuck he wants after his initial publishing deal with PlayStation ends.
Oh, this is cool. Jay Shep says the FOMO got to me, and I got the original Death Stranding during the Steam sale. Good stuff, man.
Fuck yeah.
There you go.
Bro, Steam sale. Just some killer fucking deals on there. Holy shit.
Yeah, right now it's doing pretty good. It got a lot of things on there.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, were you going to say, Brett?
We should throw out some recommendations for the Steam sale before the end of the show.
That sounds like a question.
What I was going to say was, so, because he said on the PS5, so I'm just going to do some real generous off the top of my head math here. So some generous guesstimations. So, sold 20 million. Let's say half of that was on the PS5. The other half of that was on PC. Honestly, I guess the PS5 numbers or PlayStation numbers were higher than PC, but I could be wrong. So let's say half.
It's a good question.
And generally, you can say about 50% of a lot of times on the lower end, you can expect 50% of the original fan base to go to each subsequent game. So you get diminishing returns from audiences Sometimes it can kick up and you can get better ones, but like let's guess conservatively here.
Yeah.
That's still 5 million copies. So that being said, I'd say 3 million easy mark.
Yeah, I think that's a reasonable one. 3 million. I think it could hit that. And remember, this game, unlike the first one, it's still got good word of mouth, but not a lot. This one isn't as polarizing. So the buzz may actually help it. Okay, here's the thing. Like, I think it'll sell faster than the first one. I don't know if it's going to sell 20 million overall, but by that point, yeah, I think it could sell 3 million. I'm not going to say it is because I don't want to be wrong about that, but I honestly don't know. But I think 3 million I think that's a good safe number.
Tony, I got a question. Section. Would this be a reasonable explanation to why it doesn't have as much criticism? So here's the thing. A lot of people were upset about Death Stranding 1 and a lot of people praised it. But what if with Death Stranding 2, the people who were knocking on it just didn't care or didn't bother with this game, with the sequel?
I mean, I'm talking about with critics, because they have to play no matter what, I don't really know what the public perception of the game is right now. I can only judge it on the critics. So it's the same people more or less reviewing it, and they were more. A lot of the reviews I saw were people that played the first one, then they review this one like, hey, this one's better,
Mm-hmm.
So, but I know what you're saying, though. But I haven't heard what the people think so far. The people.
I feel like I think it could easily do 3 million. Also, one thing to take into note with the previous game, it released on the PS4. So
yeah,
it also when the PS4 was probably at the height of its powers. So this one, it's releasing on the PS5. When it's doing decent, but there's no games around, so maybe it's like, what else are people going to buy?
Arguably, Carlos, this probably is the peak of the PS5's powers right now. Because I think it's kind of similar, right, with the PS4, same kind of time era almost. But I see what you're saying. But by the way, stupid question: is this game on Xbox? Didn't it come out on Xbox recently?
No.
It only on PlayStation. So
it's a PlayStation.
Okay, so it came out on PS4, / PS4 Pro, obviously. Then PS5 and PC, right? Like the original one. You're muted.
The original one was PC, then PS5.
Okay, yeah. But regardless, those three platforms: PlayStation 4, PS5,
yes,
and Steam. Right now, this one is just PS5.
And then also, after the PC one, it actually was released on PC Game Pass.
Yeah, but that's still PC, so we're going to count that.
It's still PC, but yeah.
Yeah.
Another
stupid question. Another stupid question. Is this available on Mac?
Yes.
Okay, 4 platforms then.
Yeah, but that was the late one. That was like around when they put it on iOS and all
yeah.
So it's on Mac, but it's like real. Like I think it was even done just like last year.
Yeah. So no real impact, from that 20 million.
No impact. Who at this point, any more platforms that Death Stranding would be put on, anybody who's ever going to play it has already played it.
Yeah.
At least for now.
Yeah, so I'm going to kind of agree with Brett's breakdown of PlayStation and PC, But yeah, 3 million I think is good enough, or reasonable, I should say. All right, what's up?
Also, mind you, Death Stranding 2 is also not on PC currently.
Not yet. Yeah, that's right.
It's probably going to be out maybe next year or maybe the year after that.
Didn't the first? Go ahead. No, I gotta look. Go ahead, Brett, because I gotta look this up because I could have sworn Death Stranding came to PC before a year, but I could be wrong. Let me look that up. Go ahead.
It was like about a year later. I think during 2020, it popped out on PC. I think.
Go ahead.
Because remember, it came in 2019, so
2020,
2021, I think.
Everybody.
I mean, all you need to do is just
stop cutting Brett off, dude. Let him talk.
Oh, sorry.
If this came out on PC Game Pass, that's a bunch of unaccounted for players that might be uh, people who are buying the sequel too. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah. Hey, there's Adam. Okay, so I was right. The game did not take a year to come out for PC. It came out 6 months later.
Yeah.
That is 6 months, right? November to July. That's 7 months. Math, not good. But yeah. Anyway, good stuff. Speaking about we're talking a very appropriate shirt, Adam, since we're talking about a Hideo Kojima game. Perfect. Got Michael Biehn on that shirt.
Damn right. I hope he got paid for this shit. I really do.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't. No, he didn't even
I
know.
would be so pissed if I saw my face on.
No,
That's literally from Terminator, man.
yeah, there's a shot like a set photo or whatever. That's exactly that same thing. All they did was they just changed a couple of things around. But yeah, that's that same shot from Terminator.
It's hilarious. It's like, man, you did Contra do that too with its cover?
Yeah, Contra is it's actually not it is Arnold, but it's not, though people think the other one is Sylvester Stallone. It's actually not Sylvester Stallone, it's actually Billy.
Yeah, it is Predator. Billy, that's right. Billy.
So, yeah. It's Billy from Predator. Because if you remember how Billy looked, he had the long hair and all that stuff. Yeah. He just removed his headband. But yeah.
That's funny. All right. Next question for Black Viet. Do you need to play and finish the first Death Stranding before playing the sequel? No, but it would help. This game does a pretty good job of easing you into it. And I'm going to say this, though. Although this is not on the same level as PC Gamer, I believe it was, not knowing that the game didn't have performance mode, I didn't realize this game had a synopsis in it, So I kind of have to take back a compliment I initially had, because I was like, damn, this game does a good job of just, letting you know what happened in the previous game through dialogue. You don't have to read all this shit. But if you want to do that, you can do that. But I would still say, again, you don't need to play the first one. You could jump into this one, but I think, playing the first one would give you more of an appreciation at least. But you don't need to, you know.
From
what's up, Brett?
Oh, especially I just want to throw in there, since Jake Shep pointed out, it is $16 on Steam right now.
Damn, that's nice.
So you can play a nice
for that price
game.
Yeah, for that price, I would probably say it's worth playing the first one.
Oh, yeah, Brett, you're right. I meant to change my answer now. Play it. It's $15.
I mean,
yeah, play that one first before getting the new one.
But here's the thing, and this is coming with somebody who is currently playing Death Stranding 1.
Uh-oh.
And he's running into those into the difficult hurdles of the things that a lot of people had complaints over with the original.
Talking about Carlos, by the way.
Yes, Carlos is currently playing Death Stranding 1. I think he said last time it was 11 hours in.
I think after today is around 11 hours.
Oh, okay, yeah. But you're but the thing is that that's the one thing I would say might be a little bit difficult for people, because that first one is just, especially judging by the stuff that I've seen for the new game and the just the reception of it. A lot of people just saying that this new one is definitely a lot more respectful of your time.
One thing I've heard, Manny, which is pretty interesting. I don't know if you heard this phrase. They said that this game makes the first game feel like a proof of concept.
Yeah, that's what I've heard too.
Hey,
in other words,
that's a compliment.
All the things that people took issues with, he literally looks like he addressed it. So, I mean, on one end, I would say, obviously you would appreciate a lot of the nuance of a lot of it from if you did play the first one. But I could say that, because of just seeing the way the synopsis works for this game, and a lot of the way they really distilled a lot of the stuff that you have to kind of work for in the previous title. I think you can kind of get away with playing this game without actually playing the first one.
Like I said,
Yesterday-
you don't even need to read the synopsis in the game. Like they do a good job in just game dialogue itself. Just a normal cutscene. They do a good job of just giving you the basics of what happened before and the world.
Yeah, the beginning, the first cinematic before the whole the first thing before the whole first cinematic starts. It has that thing that pretty much gets you up to snuff.
Yeah. Were you gonna say,
Okay,
Carlos?
so let me
Oh, go ahead, Brett, and then Carlos.
let me ask you this. If like let's say I were gonna play Death Stranding 2 and I was dead set, I was like, nah, I'm not gonna spend the $15 on Death Stranding 1. I don't got the time, I just want to jump in. Would this be one of those I should watch a YouTube video to catch up on, or I should just dive straight in? Because it sounds almost like I don't even watch a fucking YouTube video, that they're really accommodating first time players here.
Yeah, you really don't even need to watch a YouTube video. They do a really good job. And again, I'm saying this, you don't even need to read the synopsis if you don't want. The game itself does a good job of just getting you up to speed. Because here's the thing about Death Stranding. Even though the story is told in a crazy way, at its core, it's simple, So, and they do a good job of that, at least. Yeah, great observation there, Brett. But yeah, Carlos, we're going to say?
Yeah, if you're gonna get into the first game, just get ready to spend a lot of time doing nothing except moving forward and holding the triggers.
Hold them triggers.
A lot, just that. Just gotta click the triggers.
CD Keys has the director's cut for $14.
There you go.
And no tax. And no tax. No tax.
Yesterday I played around maybe 2 to 3 hours, and the most I got was walking, putting a what's it called, a ladder over a river, and talking to terminals, and that's it.
That's the Death Stranding experience.
And then you rage quit.
And then I saw a motorcycle, and I'm like, how the hell do I get this motorcycle to run?
Oh yeah, see, I told you about that.
So yeah,
I don't even think he can get on it.
Not yet. Like he has to play a little bit more. Yeah.
It
So
really,
you can see it, but he won't get on it. Like you could be standing right next to it.
It's damaged. It's like badly damaged.
Yeah,
It's teasing you. Like you're gonna get this eventually.
You're gonna get this.
And
Days gone.
I'm not gonna Days Gone. Well, that's how this game feels. It's like a lot of Days Gone. And someone mentioned the point. It's like it really is like it tests your patience, at least for me, because I really like the story and I want to progress the story, but everything in between is really much a dud. Like the combat is not great. The traversal is fine. I like the way like you can climb, you can rope, you can grapple and all that stuff. That stuff's pretty neat. You can climb pretty much everything from the looks of it. But when you're carrying stuff, it's like, man, you'll spend half an hour just walking from one place to another, just struggling to, hold yourself. And you're like, damn, I see like all this missing packages and stuff. You're like, yeah, I'm not going to carry that because it's going to take me it's going to add like 20 minutes to my direction over here. So to be honest, I'm not a fan of this game. I'm a fan of the story, and that's pretty much what's keeping me to like playing it.
That sounds like me with that sounds like me with the first Mass Effect. I hated the gameplay, but that story kept me going, and the graphics kept me going. By the way,
the graphics are great too.
Yeah, it's funny because this game, when they do flashbacks, they just show you the original game. Like, damn, this shit still looks good. By the way, Jacob says, "Damn, Carlos, do I need to get a refund?" No, just be prepared for tedium. The game does not hold your hand, bruh.
Yeah. It doesn't hold your hand. But the thing about it is, and I think that's the greater like narrative through gameplay, you're gonna struggle in the beginning, but once you get further on, once you continue to build the chiral network and all that stuff, you build those connections with all the different people in the area, you get better things. So it's like there's an advantage to essentially taking the time and working with every single one of these preppers to bring the chiral network up. So there is genuinely, again, it does seem tedious, but as you further you get on, and the more connection stuff you get with all those guys, the better stuff you earn. So like even just like getting those characters, those side characters, all the way up to their maximum, by delivering them their different packages, you get extra stuff from them that'll help you out.
Yeah, Carlos, that's a question I have for you actually.
Uh-oh.
Are you seeing other people's structures in your game?
Define structures, please.
Okay, basically when you see like a bridge or something or a ladder and it has like, Jeff Keighley 5672, do you see shit like that? Or that you can hit like on it? Do you see stuff
Yes.
like that? Okay, because I was wondering, like, is there enough of a population to have that in the original game anymore? Because, like, that's one of the key things of that game. It's like the more you progress, the easier it becomes because other people start building shit around you, and obviously you build stuff, and it makes whoever it helps other people out.
Yeah. So it's like,
So,
What's up?
yeah.
so if Brett just jumps in now, right? Let's say he jumps
Mm-hmm.
in. This game's been out for years. Is he gonna see all that? Is that all just gonna be filled out? Like, you have to do a whole long trip, but now there's a ladder there. Just climb the shit.
As you connect the chiral network, which is all the different places, you start seeing people's things that people have done inside of your environment. So you'll see situations. We'll see like there's a ladder that goes over a mountain. You'll actually see trails. So like the connection, you activate it more, you start seeing trails that people have traveled. So you'll see, like, in other words, like Carlos was having an issue with the, obviously where he has to hold his backpack all the time, and that's usually because there's a bunch of bumpy stuff on the floor. You can use that little radar thing to like see what will make you fall over. They show up as red. But then you'll start seeing trails and roads and things that are made by other people that they've traveled multiple times, and they become easier to walk through. So, like as you open up more ability, like more things to construct, like you can make bridges, you can make these like reconnaissance towers and all kinds of other things. As you gain those things, you start seeing those in your environment from other people.
Can you drop things like you just said with the bumpy road?
Yes.
Oh yeah, you could drop stuff. You could drop stuff for other people.
Packages, the packages, they're like a lot of times you'll see abandoned packages all over the place. Those are other players' packages that you that they may have dropped or lost in some way. And if you pick them up and you bring them to one of the delivery locations, you get some additional points and stuff for doing something like that. So you even help out the other people too.
Can you just open them? It's like, hey, I found it.
No, it's just, he just delivers them. You
don't open packages in this game.
You don't open packages, but you actually do know what's inside of them.
Yeah, you do.
So
yeah.
There's one guy later on in the game that's like, he's actually a Japanese game journalist, right? They don't say what it is he is, but he works for Famitsu magazine. Anyway, he's in the game, and all the things that you deliver to him are game consoles. So you see at one point, you look at the contents of the package, in the menu, and you see, wait, that's a fucking PlayStation.
I remember that guy.
You'll see all kinds of fun stuff. Like if you'll see the magazine in there that he had written, all kinds of funky stuff. So
Manny, thank you, J-Shep. Spoilers. Chill out with the spoilers. I know the game's I know the game's 6 years old, but yeah.
Those aren't exactly spoilers.
They are, but yeah.
You have to look. You have to look. No, spoilers if I told you the actual plot of the story, but no.
Yeah, that is true.
These are just people that you find inside of.
Damn, he turned the volume down. Okay, let's chill out. We don't want to. We don't want to enforce our version of what a spoiler is on other people.
Can you break something? Like, could something be fragile?
Yeah.
Like, mission
failed.
Mm-hmm.
There's all the items, all the packages have what they call void tape, which is a little marker on the actual object that the more damage it takes, the more you can see how damaged it is, and that also lowers the points that you get whenever you deliver a package. So if you deliver a package and it looks all damaged and stuff, you won't get as much points as if you didn't hit anything. But
like say for example, if you trip and you fall, the package drops, that damages it. But
it damages it.
Yeah, but you could get this like repair spray and shit. You put it on, and you're good.
Yeah, you can repair the casing. You can repair the casing if you get that if you unlock the spray. But yeah, it's they give you things that let you know what's going on.
Yeah. I'll say this about the second game. The running theme I've had with it, every time I'm like, this is a little clunky. I wish it was easier. I'll literally, like 5 minutes later, get an upgrade that makes this shit easier. So I'm like, okay, like you could tell they thought about it. Every single time I'm like, man, like, this is a pain in the butt. Like, I wish I could, why doesn't it do that? Like, oh, wait, now it does that. It's kind of cool. Like I'm not going to say because obviously spoilers, but there's one thing I was talking to Manny about before. I'm like, I wonder if they could fix that. If they fix that, that'll be big, but we'll see. Anyway, so yeah, the question again, you don't need to play the first one.
Yeah, I don't think you do.
Yeah. All right. Second question from Mr. Black Viet, also about Death Stranding. This one's kind of funny. With all the high praise Death Stranding 2 is receiving, is it safe to say that Jeff Keighley will dedicate a third of the Game Awards this December to Kojima and the game? Also, will Jeff Keighley come up with a new award category for Death Stranding 2 to win?
Best emotional game.
Best Hideo Kojima game.
I will say this. He will win something at the Game Awards. Whether it may not be Game of the Year, if he may win the Director of the Year or something like that, he will win something. That's a definite.
Yeah.
Will he devote a bunch of time to Kojima like he did, where he just showed up and came out of a door and talked for 15 minutes about a game about OD? I don't think he's going to do that.
Yeah. Mr. Ditto 2002. If you have a gaming question, feel free to ask. Unless you're a troll, that last part, my goodness, is this a troll or not? But we'll see. But it's a gaming question. We will answer it. But yeah, we'll see. It's going to win something. I agree. The game's going to win something.
Yeah, I definitely think it'll win something.
Best,
gotta have something.
Is a hell of a thing.
Yeah. Best Troy Baker cameo. I don't know. Some bullshit. It'll win.
Well, that's not a Kojima thing.
No, but it's for Death Stranding 2, Like, remember, the other part of the question was, will they make up a category for this game to win? All right, let's move on. Jay Shep, another question. Do you think Xbox will advertise PlayStation PC games being playable on the Asus Xbox handheld? I don't think they're going to do it, but you may see the PlayStation logo. You'll do that, but they're not going to.
They need to have a.
Go ahead.
Bro, they need to have a playable. Like, they're working against Steam Deck. Steam Deck labels that shit whether or not it labels whether or not that shit works. Like, you need that. That standard has been set. So they're gonna initially have Xbox handheld certified.
Yeah, but the thing is, that's a great question. Like, are games that are Steam Deck certified? No, it wouldn't, because this is an Xbox and this Windows 11 version. Brett, we may have to look out for that.
It'll be it'll be whatever the approval system that ROG has. Don't they have their own type of and that launcher doesn't it have some kind of way of verifying? Hey, this will work on this device?
No, it's just it's a Windows game. Have fun. That's all it says.
That's gonna be a hard one.
Yeah. Microsoft is going to have to certify the games that run well.
Yeah, Ditto, that is not a gaming question, bro. Yeah, no, again, no Windows 11 handhelds, at least the ones I review, have anything like that. Like, this game's verified for this system. That's not a thing. So maybe Xbox will do it because they claim they have some kind of different, like, optimized version of Windows 11. I don't know.
I mean, really? Okay, so here's what I think the difference is going to be. Like, if they're trying to build a platform, they need to go all in on that shit and certify games, right? If they're just throwing an Xbox button on an ROG Ally, then they ain't got to do shit. And whether or not they certify games, to me, is going to be the kind of canary in the coal mine as to whether they're trying to build and expand their platform into handheld space, or whether they're just trying to piggyback off of ROG. So it's going to be the difference between like just going all in and investing in the future, or a toe dip. Thing is, Microsoft, they go in sometimes more than they should. They're the opposite of Sony. They don't do the toe dip. They do the plunge, even sometimes when it's a bad idea. Like, yeah, we're gonna put a camera in the living room, looking at you the entire time. Everybody's gonna love it. No, we insist you can't buy the console without it. Like, that was fucking stupid, right? Like, but they do go all in. So like, I can see them saying like, hey, if you buy it off the Xbox button, the storefront, it's gonna run on this thing.
Yeah, pretty much. But again, I don't think Xbox will. Here is a PlayStation game you can play. They're gonna do that, but you will see a PlayStation logo on some stuff. You know.
Well, I mean, it'll probably be just the way like, you know, because it's supposed to be running Steam on there, right?
You can run the Steam store on there.
Yeah, if you can run the Steam, the Steam game on there, then yeah, it should be on there.
They don't need to do it. They don't need to do it because people will do it for them. YouTube is gonna blow up doing it. Oh, look, I'm playing PlayStation game on an Xbox. Look what I can do.
Well, I mean, it's like it's a weird thing because it's like it's playing PC games, so it's like those things are already on there. So is it a big deal?
I mean, they already highlighted access to multiple storefronts as one of the key features of this device. I mean, I know that's kind of,
but it's not like attached. It doesn't obviously attach to the PlayStation, but it does to Steam. So theoretically, all those games will run on there.
Yeah, it's coded language, so like I don't know if they'll straight up say you can play PlayStation games on here, but they'll say like they will say like, yeah, you have access to Steam and Xbox storefronts on a single device.
There you go. There you go.
That's it right there.
There you go. That's how they'll do it. They're not going to say directly. They'll do it like that. Exactly. So there you go. That'll be a fun one. Look out for the announcements. Look out for the PlayStation logo. But
Bro, you know what?
What's up?
If Microsoft, I'm sorry, I just realized I had a moment. I was like, holy shit! If Microsoft managed to make some sort of deal with Steam to go in together on their next console, they could basically just cut into having Sony's games on their platform the same way. Like they may just go the long route and just kind of like put Sony PC games on their next Xbox via Steam.
I mean, yeah. I mean, remember, the next Xbox is supposed to have Steam integration, so yeah, you can do that, or you should be able to, I should say.
So, like,
unless Sony gets bitter and pulls that shit, I can see that.
Yeah.
Like J-Shep, trying to force. Okay, Brett, I'm sorry, but because I want you to look at Ashley, because this is something J-Shep's been talking about in the chat for a while. He says this sounds like a lawsuit. No, remember, Steam is if it's on a PC, it's good. There's no lawsuit there, you know?
Yeah, dude, it's
not wrong.
What it sounds like, bro, is a loophole. It's not a lawsuit, it's a loophole.
Is it a loophole, though?
I mean, it kind of is.
I'll agree with that because it's kind of like there's no way Sony would have known that Steam and Valve would have partnered with Microsoft, especially with the history that they have. I mean, there's a lot of hate.
Okay, I see what you mean. Yeah,
used to be back in the day. So I don't think at any point Sony said, "Well, I'm sure Microsoft made something." Because remember, even Microsoft made their own store to compete against Steam and pulled all their games.
Yeah,
it was a whole big thing for many years. And
I remember that. Yeah,
I never saw this. Playing nice and like, yeah, we're gonna put all this stuff. Hey, we're gonna even put your ecosystem in our ecosystem. I would have lost money if I would have bet on that. There's no way. But here we are,
bro. It's one of those like, you got your chocolate in my peanut butter. You got my peanut butter in your chocolate. Oh, like, holy man. Like that's the shit that would be the thing that Sony would actually need to wake up and worry about right there, because like. The power of those two things going together, like even like Steam isn't super interested in making a console, right? Like they've made that very clear that they've not really wanting to make a Steam box. And everybody's like, oh, well, they made the Steam Deck. Maybe they'll make a Steam box. Maybe let Microsoft make the Steam box for them. And then everybody wins except Sony. And then like Sony has the choice to pull your games off the PC, go full exclusive again, or do you open up and we see the end of exclusivity? Like we're reaching that kind of critical mass point where what's it going to be? Are we going to go? It's going because it's going to be one or the other, and we genuinely might be seeing the end of exclusivity through that route. And I know there's a lot of what ifs between here and there, but like the ROG Xbox Ally, like that's a crack in the dam. And you can't put that genie back in the bottle, right? As soon as people are like, oh, you can have multiple storefronts, and we're already talking with Steam about putting Steam on our next Xbox. Like, bro, it's over. That shit's over. So now that would be really interesting to see what Sony's reaction is, because the ball's in their court.
So, Brett, this is what J-Shep says. Yeah, Brett, this is to what you said. Brett said Valve would partner with Microsoft. I don't think Sony would be okay with that. So what do you say?
Sony doesn't get an opportunity to be okay with that. Like, they're not acquiring them. It's Sony doesn't
even so much of a partnership.
It's not. I was about to say it's not a partnership. It's just, yeah, and maybe you're gonna say this. I'm like, it's not a partnership. It's just like Xbox is just allowing Steam on Xbox. That's it. It's not a partnership.
It's already there. It's on Windows. This is a Windows-based device. They're not doing anything different, just making it into a small handheld. That's it. It's the same shit. If it's still running Windows, they're gonna be like, what's different than you?
Yeah, there is no partnership. You're 100% right. Yeah.
There is no partnership. No, yeah, this is it. It's just we made our.
You can play Spider-Man right now on the ROG Ally.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah, you can play right now. That's it. The only thing is it's got the Xbox branding on it.
Yeah, no, Brett did. Brett did say partnership, but we don't think partnership is the right word.
Partnership is probably a bad word. That's my bad. Well, I mean, like partnership in a deal, but like not an acquisition or not like a merger.
No,
I think people are thinking merger.
The only thing that can happen here is if Valve says no. If Valve says nope, you're not putting Steam on there, then that could happen. The same thing for
that
Epic.
could happen.
Epic
Yeah.
Nope, we don't want our storefront on that platform. They've done it before. They pulled a bunch of them off of my Nvidia Shield.
I remember that. Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, it's not a partnership. It's just Xbox would allow it. But Adam, like you said, it's up to Steam to say, okay, cool. You know, they could say no.
And they don't care.
Yeah.
They're all about money. They're like, we sell games.
That money.
So, yeah, go ahead, put it on there so people can buy more games. It's just more of an outreach. But this is putting a lot of pressure on Sony. This whole thing with how everything is expanding and friends, everyone holding hands. Yeah. It's like, and they're still keeping everything closed in. It's a lot of pressure. It's like, what are you? What is your ego? Is this a toy? Is that what you're telling me? Is this a toy where I need my proprietary cartridges to shove in? Are we back to that? We'll have to see how they evolve, because they're gonna have to evolve at some point.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Adam, can you do me a favor and check your mic settings? You're coming like in and out, some weird stuff going on. But anyway, while we do that, go ahead, Brett. Any last thoughts before we get to the next question?
Man, there was one I wanted to add on to this. Nope, it's gone. Let's move forward.
All right, fair enough. All right, Alpha.
And it's gone.
Yeah, and it's gone. Maybe it was just a distance, Adam, because you don't have it too close. Because
you hear me?
We heard you finally just kept going in and out, in and out, in and out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it could be. It could have been. What about now? Does it sound any different?
Yeah, you much better.
In and out.
You got to stay lean forward.
Yeah, that's what it is. It sounded like you were talking, and then it went away, then it got closed, and then it went away. You know what I was saying? It sounded like that. Yeah.
Sounds leaning too far back.
Yeah. All right. Got a pair of questions here from Mr. Alpha Chuck. You guys discussed the new ability in the Xbox PC app to have access to your Steam library. I don't think this is a big deal on PC. However, if this is Microsoft testing the waters for a potential feature on their next-gen consoles, is that something you would be excited for? Would it be enough to make you consider getting whatever the next Xbox is?
One thing before we answer that, one thing to understand with the way that works is that all that those games showing up in your app, in the Xbox app, all it is doing is sensing that you have these games installed, and it's putting essentially an icon there to run it. So you still have to have Steam, or whatever the other stores all in your system current at the time in order to do the handshake. So it's not running it from the Xbox app at all. All it is doing is just giving you a shortcut to all the games that you have installed on your console. On your PC.
I think that's scarier. Because I see that as like, okay, so like if this is gonna work, if Microsoft really wants to put Steam on their new S, they're gonna have to make friends with Steam, right? And what that probably is gonna mean is more profit sharing. Steam makes 30% off of their PC. Even if Xbox is like, yo, we're gonna cut that 50-50, or you get 20%, we get 10% off of every Steam sale. Yeah, it's reduced share, but it's a bigger user base, and it's somebody that's going to take on the actual manufacturing aspect. And that's one thing Microsoft is pretty good at, is the physical manufacturing. Steam is fucking excellent at it, but I don't know that they want to go through all that to make a Steam Deck. So they pass that off. And one thing that could be really interesting is, by doing it the way that you're talking about, Manny, they're keeping track of who they actually bought the game from, which kind of keeps a partition where.
No, I mean, at least the way it works now is it just Windows. This is the Xbox app on your current PC. All it does is it keeps track of what things that you have installed. Every single one of those games have to have an installation, so Windows already knows that those things are installed into it. So it's just like, okay, yeah, I know that these are games. The other way, which would be insane, is that okay for their next their actual Xbox handheld, you don't need to have Steam, Epic Game Store, or let's say the Ubisoft one installed in your console, inside of your piece, inside of your your handheld. That Xbox is perfectly fine with doing the handshake to either one of those platforms, so you don't need to constantly have them all running at the same time in order to do the stupid DRM handshake that they all need to do on Steam.
That would be nice. I don't know how you divvy the sales up though. Like, they're gonna want to keep their storefront separate.
You wouldn't. Yeah, you would probably have to be that there's an Xbox within the store, the Xbox store, which is on that their handheld would have to have like a Steam section, kind of like the way they do the weird separation now with at least Xbox has the thing where if you go into the Ubisoft section, which is included into there, it is somewhat like cordoned off on the side.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, all of this is, not a big deal right now, but it does portend a possible future where their next console could have it. And if so, like, yeah, I'd fucking love that shit. I want Steam sales on my Xbox. Fuck yes, I do.
So
I mentioned this. But what about repeat games? That'd be a weird one, right? Like, you have one that's on your Xbox store and then one that's on Steam. So which one do you have to choose which one?
Well, I mean, honestly, it'd be great if, like, on day one, my new Xbox could, like, just download anything that's already in my Steam library. Like, dude, you come home, already have like an install. You already have a whole library. It's that shit's crazy. That doesn't happen with consoles, and all of it is already owned by you. So it's not like you have to pay anything more. So yeah, you'll probably still go home and buy a couple new games, but you got 30 games in your backlog that you never got to, and now you can play them on the Xbox in the living room like that. That would be pretty dope. I'd be down for that.
Go ahead, Carlos. You were going to say something.
The whole thing with the announcement they made a couple of weeks ago with AMD, I made the prediction where I said I think this next console is going to be pretty much a PC. Like it's not even going to be like a PC like these consoles are. It's going to be just a straight up PC. And I feel like this console, the new Xbox, is essentially going to be an Xbox and a Steam PC all in one, along with other other type of launchers as well. But yeah, I'm not surprised. So I don't know what the cut is to get Steam on there, or how much they should make off each sale. But I'm pretty sure they can work it out, because Steam, they don't really care how they get to places. They just want to be everywhere. That's their whole deal.
Yeah. By the way, Jay Sheps asked, do you think the platform owner would be okay with the gamer bypassing their platform? I don't think so.
It would need some sort of wheeling and dealing between them and Microsoft. It's as Adam said, some people just be like, nah, it ain't happening. So again, it just means like even if it's it could just be a situation where all those other platforms you need in order to play them on there, you need to have Steam, you need to have Epic Game Store, you need to have Ubisoft whatever on there in order to play them. And and just like on your PC, how they all run in the background in light mode, and then when you start them up, they always do that little thing. They always start themselves up as soon as you start up any one of their games if you haven't played them in a while, and they do the little handshake and then like, okay, you can play it now. So it could just be that.
They're all still gonna require launchers, just like on all the other PC devices, because we're playing the PC version. We're not playing the console versions.
Okay, so here's the thing. You could have a launcher that's a library that is fully integrated, right? But then two storefronts that are separated. And if you're on your Steam Xbox and you buy something from Steam, instead of Steam's 30%, they get 20%, and Microsoft gets a 10%. And Steam puts a subsection on there for their Xbox Live, or puts some Xbox games subsection on there, and you get the inverse on there. And so they buddy up, have two separate storefronts and one launcher that connects them. Boom, done, sold. I'm done. And honestly, straight up, I think that could be the thing that would compete against the next Sony console. And I think that's the only goddamn thing that's going to be able to compete against the next Sony console.
No, I think Microsoft's whole thing is pushing Game Pass. So I think they really want all of that other. Oh, we'll give you percentages, and we don't. No. We don't want anybody buying any games. We just want them on Game Pass.
Yeah, well, they want Game Pass, but what if they put Game Pass on Steam?
Oh, no. That's never gonna happen. I can't see that. That'll kill Steam's model. Their whole thing is they make money off of selling games.
But they could also make money off of renting games.
Oh yeah, the backlash on that one.
I'm saying, like, the customer base. I don't know about the developers. From last I heard, the developers still felt it was a good deal sometimes, but other times not. People who use Game Pass seem to love it. People who use Steam seem to love it. You already fucking have both storefronts on your PC. Like, all we're talking about is having the next console be like your PC, but with a big screen launcher. Like, that's really the only difference we're talking about here. And for Steam to then suddenly be ubiquitously available in everybody's living room, not only is that going to increase the user base, but that'll increase the type and amounts of games that Steam users play. Right? Like, if I want to play a game, a couch co-op game, I'm not going to buy that shit on Steam. I'm going to buy it on Xbox because I want to play it on my fucking couch. But now, if they do that, maybe I'll buy it on my couch.
But Steam is free for multiplayer. Consoles is not. So that just changes everything right there. We're like, well, I might as well get the PC version because then I don't have to pay the entry fee to just play multiplayer games.
Oh no, you'll still have to pay you'll still have a paywall between the internet on the new Xbox, even if it has Steam on it. That's where Microsoft's going to get their definite cut.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you were to add Game Pass onto onto Steam, people would be like, why should I pay for this if I have these PC games that I could already play online for free? And unless you already have Game Pass and you want that integration, but for new people, I don't see
Here's what I'm
people
saying.
on Steam
Even
saying,
if you
yeah, I'll jump on it.
Even if you download a Steam game on the new Xbox, you can't play multiplayer for free unless you have the Xbox subscription that lets you get fucking online, because we've all just accepted that we pay to be online for consoles. And that shit ain't going away whether or not you put Steam on a console. That's going to be there no matter what. And that's where Microsoft's making their money. Like, you could buy nothing but Steam games on the new Xbox console. They're still making their $10, $15, $25 a month off you. They don't give a shit. That's where they're making most of their money. That's where a majority of their profits come from.
Yeah. So J Shep says, I think if all that was a possibility, Microsoft would have done it. It would defeat the purpose to play my PC games on an Xbox that wants to charge for online.
I know it's stupid, but people will do it. You and I both know people will do it.
They already do it.
Fuck, I might do it. I'm that lazy. I might do it. I like laying in my living room. That's just awesome.
Yeah. All right. So Brett, you did answer the question, because I was like, have we answered the question yet? So you did answer. So it would get you excited.
No, I'm an enthusiastic. Like, yeah. You make an Xbox Steam console combo. I'm 100% down. Not only am I down, I am confident that would be a thing that could compete numbers wise with the new PlayStation. And I'd eat my fucking hat on that one.
Yeah, what about the rest of you guys? But my answer is no, because I have a PC, so I'm good. I don't need an Xbox. That's why I didn't buy an Xbox Series X. I'm like, kind of don't need to. But the question did say, if you're a PC guy, this doesn't mean anything. But if you're a console person, it will mean something. So, Rich, I'm going to go to you. Would that get you excited? You know?
Saving.
Yeah. So, Rich, would it get you excited? Because I know you mostly play on consoles. Oh, I think
that is a phenomenal question.
All right, never mind. Rich is out. Yeah, go ahead.
Real quick, I want to throw in there. Does this include the ability to in-network stream from my PC? Because I can stream from my laptop to my Steam Deck and get double the performance. Because I got Google Fiber, my in-home network is like 600 gigabytes a second. It's fucking insane. So would I be able to, for instance, take the power of my PC and stream that through my Xbox console into my big screen TV in my living room? I'm assuming that's part of it, because that's part of Steam, right?
I don't know. The question didn't address that part, so I don't know.
Well, it's part of Steam, so I'm saying yes, it is.
Okay, fair enough.
Anything that can hold Steam you can stream to. So that is also a big part of the reason that I said yes, and I want people to keep that in mind when answering this question.
Yeah. All right. Anybody else? Would this get you excited for the next Xbox?
I think people will be excited for the pricing.
Huh?
Go ahead.
We had two answers at the same time.
It's just the pricing. If that's the case, if they load Steam on there, or even if it's just to see your game collection and not so much the storefront, it's all right. You go on your phone, open up the Steam app, make the purchases for all those games that are dirt cheap compared to what you see on the Xbox store, and then it'll just pop up on your console, and you didn't need to buy a PC. So if you don't have a PC and you want that experience and you want the deals, because that's the main selling point whenever someone talks about, like, now we got the Steam Summer Sale, and the prices of those games are far cheaper than what you would see on an Xbox or a PlayStation. So that's great. You don't even need the store. You don't need the opportunity to go and buy things in the stores. You just need to see your collection on console, and you could do everything else on your phone. So I could see that being a selling point.
Yeah, I would venture to guess, and maybe we already know this, and I just haven't paid enough attention, but I would venture to guess that on that Xbox overlay that has Steam on it, you don't have access to the actual store, the Steam store,
No.
just the library. So that's probably one of the
NVIDIA Shield. It's like the way that's the way I see it for how they do it on all those other type of devices, where it says, "Hey, it's Valve, Steam, here, it's log in." You log in, it just shows you your games. That's it.
Yeah.
You don't see your friends list. You don't see, all the other stuff in the ecosystem, the store. Nope. It just shows what you have. Do you want to install it? Uninstall. Goodbye. That's it.
Yeah, I don't think I'll be as interested in this for the simple fact that I think this is just going to be a PC, like just a PC.
Yeah, and you already have one of those.
Yeah. So, but I will say this: I feel like this is one of the selling points for this so-called console is going to be like I already see like the marketing, like Microsoft's going to be like, get a PC spec machine at lower prices than what you would do as you would build a PC. Because I feel like this console is going to be a really, I guess, budget-friendly PC for folks. So like it's going to be more attainable for more people. I feel like that's how the marketing is going to work for that system.
Yeah. All right. Anybody else? Gonna take that as a no. So move on. All right, another one from Mr. Alpha Chuck. Did you see that the Nexus Mods site has been sold? Do you fear the site will now become much more monetized? I just heard about this, but I didn't really delve more into it. But Brian, if you want to give us any insight into this, I'm assuming you know more about this than I do. Feel free to talk.
The only thing that I'm aware of is that it was sold off to a company that seems to be very hush-hush about what they do. However, they did say that how businesses run, they won't be changing it. So they still say that mod would be free and there'll be some subscription service that will continue to run. It's just that they'll be trying to remove the ads, but they didn't say how and what changes that would make, because obviously if you remove the ads, then you need to get your money somewhere. So where that's coming from, we don't really know yet. So it's kind of just wait and see what's going on, which is obviously very bad, because then there's no transparency. Because obviously if you take over and then you say, oh, we're making some changes, removing ads, and then just leave it there, it's like, okay, so what are you replacing them with? Or what are you changing to make room for that? So some people are very concerned about the lack of transparency.
Do you think there should be a way? Do you think all mods should be free, or do you think that it should be a space for smaller creators to get their first footing?
I think the price of mods should be down to the creator. So if people want to make the mods free, they should. If they feel like they should be paid because of the effort they put in, then that should be on them as well. So that's where I stand with that. I just have an issue with Nexus Mods because they require you to sign into an account to download mods, which anytime anything asks you to sign in to do something, it's always a case of why. Like what benefit do you get from signing in?
Oh, so they could track you.
Exactly. So hence why I'm like, I don't like that. Like if I'm downloading a free mod, I should be able just to download it, and that's it.
Jay Shep says we need to consult Hip Hop Gamer for this question. Yeah, because he loves some mods, cheat mods specifically. Yeah, go ahead, Brian.
No, I just say I don't think Twitch is going anywhere.
Yeah.
Sounds of it. So let's wait and see.
That's true. All right, man. Move on here. A couple of sponsored questions here. Romudeth, man, sponsoring some J Shep questions. Thank you, Romudeth. You're a very generous person. All right, this one's funny. In the spirit of the upcoming Street Fighter movie, the panel's most anticipated movie of the decade, can you name a fighting game IP that never received a live-action adaptation but deserves one? And who would you want to direct it? I'm going to be an asshole, and I'm going to say this first. I'm pretty sure somebody else is going to say the same answer as me. Don't make any live-action fighting game. Like, they're all stupid.
Yes.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
It's going to be dumb.
Every single one. The best one out of them was Mortal Kombat.
The first one.
It.
Yeah.
Your first one. That's it.
Yeah, like, because think about all the ones we've had, right? The other two Mortal Kombats, Dead or Alive,
Alive.
Legend of Chun-Li, Street Fighter. Did Tekken get a live action one, or am I bugging?
Yes, it did.
It did have, yeah. All trash. So because I was thinking, for example, like Fatal Fury, that would be stupid. The live action would be stupid. Because fighting games, I love fighting games, they're too fucking goofy. They don't work in the context of like real life. That's been proven for like decades now. But if you want to make an animated movie or a CG one, I'm down with that because it'll work better.
Here's the thing. Like fighting game. What's a Bruce Lee movie? That's a fighting game movie.
Yeah.
Like, and they even like Mortal Kombat essentially ripped.
It did.
Essentially took that same idea from Enter the Dragon.
It is Enter the Dragon.
Enter the Dragon. So that's literally all they need to do is just make Enter the Dragon, but with different like things.
Or what's that Bruce Lee movie where he goes up the stairs all the time and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar he fought? Game of Death? Was it Game of Death?
Was that Game of Death? I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Game of Death is also that same idea too. But like there was
like
a lot
Kung Fu the game.
Here's the thing, Jay Shep, he goes, which fighting game would you say is the most realistic? Bushido Blade?
Mortal
Kombat? Yeah, here's the one. The reason why Mortal Kombat worked, and I say that in air quotes, is because it already actually had an established story, right? Most fighting games, even Street Fighter, don't rely on story, man. Like, I guess, quote unquote, the most realistic. Here's the thing: the most quote unquote realistic one of the popular fighting games that are still around is Virtua Fighter. That has no fucking story. That has no story.
It does. Tony, thank you for the perfect segue. I've been waiting in the wings. It fucking does, Tony, and it is the best answer.
Okay, what is it?
Shenmue.
That's funny.
Yeah, which was essentially supposed to be the Virtua Fighter RPG. Yes, Shenmue.
Wait, what?
Shenmue's based on the Virtua Fighter fighting system.
No. The reason I said was because of what Jeffrey said in the chat. He goes, "There was a live action King of Fighters." Oh my god! And Terry Bogard was an FBI agent. See, this is why fighting game movies are bad, because they do shit like that, So, no, I would not want them to. Don't make any live-action fighting games. Cancel them all. But, and Jeffrey, I'm glad you're in the chat. Jeffrey and I had a conversation the other day, right? And I'm like, and it's funny, so I'm going to bring it back a little bit. On Thursday, we were talking about how Jason Momoa is going to be Blanca, right? Which is insane. And then I started thinking like, what if Blanca's CG? Makes sense, right? Jason Momoa is just the voice actor. So the day after, Jeffrey, he didn't know I had this thought. He asked like, hey, stupid question, but what if this movie's actually CG and not live action? Then I'm like, then this crazy casting starts making sense. And then I told this to the in our little group. And Manny's like, okay, we know if this is a CG movie, if the director hasn't done any live action stuff. The guy that they got, it's some random dude that's done like one movie. So, and think about it. So in all the reports, they've never said this is a live action movie. They've never said that. They just said a Street Fighter movie. That's all they've said. This casting, like Andrew Schultz as Dan Hibiki, starts making a lot more sense if it's not live action at all. So throwing it out there, we could be wrong, but I'm not saying this is right. So I'm not right or wrong. Just throwing it out there as a possibility. Maybe this is a CG movie, just like the Resident Evil movies and shit. It might be a straight to Netflix thing. We don't know. But the casting, if this is a CG movie, the casting makes much more sense. Because it's insane right now. The people that they've gotten to play these characters. So we'll see. But yeah, that's my answer. Don't make any live action fighting game movies. It'll be stupid. But please do a Shenmue live action. But it's got to be from the Japanese. No Western version.
I mean, you could say Final Fight, but that's not like that's a beat 'em up.
Yeah, it's a fighting game.
Necessarily a fighting game.
Yeah.
But that movie was already made. It's called
Streets of Fire. Yep, that already exists. So is anybody else here have a different opinion? Do you actually want a fighting game to be adapted to real life?
No.
No. I mean, the whole purpose of making fighting game movies is to generate money, and
They lose.
There's a reason. Yeah, there's a reason why they fail is because they didn't have any stories. Like if you had a story to at least pull from, then there might be a way to get a successful movie made. But I mean, like you mentioned, most of these don't even have a story.
Yeah, Mortal Kombat's the only one. And even those movies aren't good. The only good one is the first one. The two after that are shit. And they actually have an actual legit story. So if the one fighting game franchise with a story can't be done right, none of them have a chance. They really made Terry. What's up, Brian?
Just to go on what you mentioned.
Yeah.
Live actions. Yeah, Tekken already had one, but also had an animated movie as well.
Yeah. See, that's cool.
Tekken Bloodlines.
Yeah.
It suffered from the same problems though.
No story.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, you can have a story, but the problem is it just won't be a good one because you just have to go through like the story flow, and these games don't lend themselves well to that. I mean, like, okay, Tony, how do you compress? Like, okay, if you were to do a film based on Tekken, what storyline do you go to?
Yeah, do you just do the Mishima story? Do you just stick with that? But even that, you would have to fill in a lot of shit that the game doesn't tell you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you can't really do the whole thing. So you end up just doing like I don't know, like parts 1, 2, and 3 crammed together. But then everyone will be like, oh yeah, it's a bit shit because they didn't add this and didn't add that. So even with Street Fighter, it's like, okay, they want to do a Street Fighter film, animated, fine, CG or not, whatever, we can ignore that. But then what story do you go to?
Yeah.
Which characters do you involve? And then, of course, you need your stand-in for the audience member, and then you need your comic relief guy, and then you start having your Marvel jokes. It's like,
oh God,
So yeah, it's just, I don't think it's a good idea to do that for fighting games. Other games, I can see it, but fighting, probably not.
No, fighting games are probably one of the worst to do that. Worse than like platformers. Even platformers have more of a fucking story than fighting games. So no.
I think like a beat 'em up might actually.
Yeah, beat 'em up, like Manny said. Yeah.
Yeah, because at least then you can do something like, what's that one? Is it like the Tower or something? No, it's not the Tower. Raid, that's it.
The Raid, yep.
Something like Raid. That actually would work.
The Raid is a legit live action beat 'em up game. Mm-hmm. So there you go. Yeah. So yeah, the question was like, what beat 'em up franchise that would actually work? Like Final Fight, Streets of Rage. That'd be kind of cool. But fighting games, no. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. All right, let's move on here. Another sponsored question. Is it up to Wolverine and or Intergalactic to define this generation for PlayStation? Neither of those will define PlayStation's generation.
No, those won't define the generation. That's like saying that's like saying God of War 2 defined the generation of PlayStation 2. It didn't. It came at the dead ass end of it, and that's where those two games are going to be.
That wasn't even my answer, but that's a great point. I was going to say Wolverine can't be it because it's an IP. That's like saying Spider-Man defined generation. That wouldn't work. And Intergalactic, here's the thing. I would think a generation-defining game has to be at least have some kind of universal appeal. I think Intergalactic is just going to be for the hardcore Naughty Dog people. I think it's going to be another dark, cynical game from that studio,
Well, they did say that this game is, quote unquote, the most gameplay oriented game that they have made since Crash Bandicoot or something.
Yeah, I mean that's good.
There's more game.
Yeah,
there's more game. There's apparently supposedly be focusing more on gameplay this time around than making you watch movies.
Yeah. J Shep goes, will Concord define PlayStation generation? No, I already have an answer. I may have told this story on the podcast, but I'll tell it again. I was at the office, and somebody brought up what game, would you say defines this generation? And then somebody, for PlayStation. Then another person joked, The Last of Us 2 remake. I said, no, that's actually a perfect answer because that is what has defined a PlayStation generation, this generation remakes of old shit, right? Remakes
Can't
of
say
old
Elden
shit,
Ring.
you know, and you can't say Elden Ring because that's a last gen game, you know. The Elden Ring could have legitimately been an answer, you know, but that's a last gen game. This generation in general, I'm even throwing Xbox in there. It's all cooked, you know. Again, we were talking about like, oh, Death Stranding came out at the height of the PlayStation 4. I think Death Stranding came out at the height of PS5. I think it's just downhill after this, and it's already been downhill. But somehow this fucking system keeps selling, you know. So yeah, I don't think Wolverine or Intergalactic is gonna quote unquote define shit for PlayStation. Maybe it will in a bad way, you know. But yeah, I don't think so. What about the rest of you guys?
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think that something that's already at the end of everything. Those I don't think they're gonna do it. Like I said before, I think it's just like it's gonna be. You know, what is Wolverine going to be? Wolverine is going to be essentially that it's going to be Spider-Man but with Wolverine. So is that generation defining? Not really. And then, you know, what is you know, we don't know what intergalactic,
Yeah.
Yes.
so that, I mean, to be honest, so like they look like they're trying to be a Souls-like, at least from what I'm seeing in this, that 2 seconds of gameplay that they show. So
Who knows?
is that generation defining? I mean, you know, God of War did it. They tried to be Souls-y too, but that I wouldn't even say the God of War games were generation defining. At least the Data War games.
Yeah, Jason said personally, I think Wolverine will be a PS best game this generation. I hope it's a good one, at least. You know.
J-Shep,
Yeah, I mean,
J-Shep also asked, will Concord define this PlayStation?
I asked that.
That is a phenomenal question.
It could, you know, but yeah, I did ask that earlier.
It could be. It defined it with its failure.
Yeah. I still think The Last of Us Part 2 remastered is that defines the PlayStation generation. There's PS5 generation.
It does define at least the PlayStation 5 generation because it is exactly what epitomates is the epitome of a current PlayStation title.
Yep.
A title that's been remade multiple times. It's just putting it out again on another console.
Yep. Pretty much.
Yeah, I agree with Manny with the Wolverine thing. They make great games, and Insomniac makes great games, but there's a reason why they're come out fast, you know. So Wolverine, I feel like it's gonna be like a Spider-Man game, but with Wolverine skin on it, which is still a great game. Don't get me wrong.
Which Spider-Man was essentially Batman with the with the Spider-Man skin.
So there's still gonna be good games, but I feel like Insomniac's not gonna go bees and knees with this game. It's just they're gonna play it safe. They know what they're good at. Intergalactic. I don't know.
You're gonna say Interstellar too, right?
Yeah, I was thinking about saying Interstellar.
think Beastie Boys. You know.
Yeah, Intergalactic Planetary. We still don't know what the game really is. We saw we saw like a couple, like a 10-second video, and then everyone's made their opinion on the game, both good and bad. I'm like, we haven't seen shit. So I have no clue about that game, and I don't even know if it's gonna come out during the PS5.
Hey, that's a good question. That's a good question.
It could be one of those like half and half ones, right? Could it be even like half, on PlayStation 5 and then PlayStation 6? It could be one of those things like Zelda.
It could be.
Yeah. Reggie, shout out to Reggie in the chat. He goes, I don't think it's best to look at one game that would define PS5 generation, but rather a collective of games on the platform. It's kind of a cop-out, though, don't you think?
Well, that's the thing. We can't think of several games. That's why we have to come up with one.
Yeah.
Oh, I can call us.
Uh-oh.
All those cancelled Light Service games.
Those, you know what? Those defined this generation.
Yeah.
Garbage live service games that never.
Yeah, that did define the entire generation. You know.
It defined it so much. They literally didn't make any other games, but attempt to make those pieces of garbage.
Jesus Christ! So maybe you're right, J Shep. Maybe Concord did define this generation for PlayStation.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
We still got Marathon.
Oh yeah, there we go. Oh God.
No. There's actually another one that hasn't gotten canceled. Another one that not the Jade Raymond game, but there's another one of those games that's coming up pretty soon, too. Don't know what I can't remember what it was called, but yeah, it's another one of those as well.
Stuff like this is making me want to become just like a retro gamer that plays on PC. Like this fucking games are so bullshit, man. All right. Go ahead. Any other things you guys want to say about that one?
I just want to make a comment real quick. Yeah. I believe you guys gave the perfect answer when you said The Last of Us, because it's a game and it's a TV show. This is literally the only thing Naughty Dog has been talking about this entire generation is The Last of Us. So, yeah, I know you don't really want to count the TV show, but I got to count that, man. This is all this they've been talking about this entire generation.
You know? All right, man. Let's move on here.
Real quick, I want to give an honorable mention to I want to throw an honorable mention to Redfall.
For Xbox, you know. Hopefully this generation will be the last of it. I think it will be because I don't think we're going to see any more Last of Us games. I think they're going to just stick with the TV show and that's that. But then again, the TV show may be canceled after next season. So we'll see about that. The Abby season, get ready, people. You know you're waiting for it.
Yeah. And they had the nerve to advertise that.
She is the star.
The actress.
Yep.
They're like, get ready. And it's like the downvotes.
Adam, are you gonna cover this?
What, the last one? Probably just because I said it even when we were covering it. I was saying it. I was like, yo, and Rich and we covered the finale, and I said, get ready, people. This is it. And people were already upset. I saw the ratings. You know, there were people that were watching it. Now HBO did a spin on it, saying that the finale came out during the holiday time and some other things and all this stuff. It's like, yeah, but no, people will find a way to watch. Now that we have phones and stuff like that, you can't use that excuse of like, oh, well, they're not in front of a TV. You don't need to be in front of a TV anymore. Those days are over. You know, no one cared. And we saw that drop off once Pedro Pascal, even though he's on the show, still part of flashbacks, he's dead. And as we saw that even with Walking Dead, normies and casuals don't like when their favorite characters die.
Yep.
In anything. It doesn't matter what it is. They just can't deal with it. And when something like this happens, they just tune out. They're like, all right, forget it. What's going on? And there's this whole love affair. And with this girl, I don't even care. I don't want to hear her side of the story. You've already had me invested in supporting this girl and what's going on with her and with the so-called father figure with Joel. And now I'm supposed to not care and I have to follow this other jabroni chick's life? I don't know. I'm out. And we saw that when the game came out. That's one of many gripes, but that was one of them. It's like, yo, I finished this game 3 hours ago. Why am I still playing? And I was like, oh, I know why. Because I have to play as this chick this whole time.
Yeah, 8 hours with that fucking bitch.
You know, the thing about it, with the thing about Abby, and I was wondering if they would actually try to address it in the series. We're essentially giving her more of an in season 1. You know, as you know, it's instead of just being sort of an out of nowhere sort of character, but they did the same damn thing. They literally had a chance to put her in the other season, and be like, okay, you know, a setup, you know, for at least for whatever was going to come next. But no, they did the same thing. They're just like, oh yeah, and then there's this girl.
Yeah, I mean, like even like Game of Thrones made you care about all the other characters.
Yeah, even if they were assholes, you cared about them. You know.
Yeah, so with this one, it was just a 180. Like I remember when we were playing it, Tony, like in real time. I was like, what the hell's going on?
Man,
it's like forcing
remember,
us to be invested into something that we didn't care about.
The game tried to, and I mean, I don't even know if I should say it because people probably play the game, but it tries to get you to care about her because of who she cares for. Remember the kid.
But I don't care about the fucking kid. You know?
That's what I'm saying. Even the kid is part of a bad group. You know? So it's like, why? What is this? It's like, all right, so you got these two that are having their own war. What does this have to do with Ellie and everybody? Like, let them deal with their own stuff.
Horse shit. Fuck that game, man. Yeah, I said it.
Yeah, so it's just sad that I guess somebody in HBO were like, oh wow, I think we should let's pick up IPs and books and all that stuff. Oh, this is a great game. You know, let's go with it. The second one, and let's not talk about that one. Let's talk about the first one. And then that went great. And then HBO execs were like, we want more of this. And that same person who introduced the idea of The Last of Us as a show said, you know what? They did make a second game. Then do it. And failed to mention, by the way, it got horrible reviews. No one liked it. It was really bad. It went off story. Oh, no, you know what? Whatever. It's all about money. Maybe that person already left and got a new job somewhere else. But I don't see this taking off. This second season,
I think,
we'll see.
Yeah, I think the show's going to be canceled.
But they what saves them is that they don't have to say cancel. Because when it's over, they're like,
it's over.
There's only 2 games.
Yeah.
There's only 2 games. So we did it. That's it. We just, the second game was much longer, which is why we had the third season.
All we got.
But it's technically, it is from the source material, which is only a second game, and that's it. Unless Naughty Dog has plans of sneaking in a third game and using the tie-in with the show. What was that show that had a game linked to it? It was on Sci-Fi Channel.
Oh my God! Yes, I do remember that. Yes, I forgot the name of it, but I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
the Remedy game.
Unless they tried.
No,
it was
a
multiplayer title.
We covered it like on SCFU and Play. It was an old fucking show, you know. But I know what you're talking about. It was like an MMO. Yes.
Yeah. It like went based off of like the majority of what people were playing in the game, and then they changed it within the story. I don't know, but unless they try to do something like that to introduce a new game, which I doubt they'll do, this is it. It's a one and done. They're gonna do this third season. Nothing's gonna come from it, and that's it.
Yeah.
Check out.
This is it.
And pray that God of War, lives up to.
That's gonna be trash
on Amazon.
Or Gears.
I mean, in the Gears, we'll see. We'll see how that goes too. Again, it's the story, right? What is the story? Is God of War going to be Dad of War, or is this going to be God of War from the PlayStation game?
They're gonna do Dad of War. They're not gonna do
Dad of War. Okay.
They should. It's the more compelling story. The first one, the first games. That's the part that I didn't like. It was a story.
And with
the story was a quintessential Greek.
Defiance,
plot,
Adam.
Right?
That was it. That was the game.
Defiance.
Yeah.
Okay. There you go. People, the defiance of supporting.
Yeah, Adam. J Ship couldn't hear you. Yeah, we're having some issues with your mic tonight, man. It's like keeps going lower. Yeah, like you have to get it really close to you or something.
It might mean.
I'm right. I haven't moved.
Sometimes the noise canceling on the Discord tends to have a short cutoff. That's what it seems to do.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah, we have to look that into.
Maybe flip the noise canceling thing off of it and see what happens.
Yeah. And for you guys listening to the MP3, it's possible a lot of what Adam said did get cut off because if it isn't a certain decibel, like when I do the silence thing, it just cuts it off. Yeah, I don't know what's been going on. It's like going up and down, up and down, up and down.
And I'm sitting right in front of it. I'm not back.
See right there, it just went low for you didn't move at all, but your mic went down, Yeah,
maybe turn up the sensitivity of your mic on there too, on the Discord application. Yeah.
All right. While Adam troubleshoots, we'll go to the last question. Michael Santiago asked us what our favorite game is, but we've answered that a bunch of times. My favorite game is coming out in August, Metal Gear Solid 3. There you go. All right, so the last question, also sponsored question from shout out to Lunar Diaries, another faithful, loyal fan. Wish he was in the chat, but he's sponsoring another J Shep question. The question is, what game, kind of related to the past question, what game would you say defined the Switch 1 generation? I have an answer, and it might get people upset.
Are you going to say Breath of the Wild?
No.
Okay.
That was my first answer. I'm like, wait, no, this defined it.
Yeah, but the problem with that one is that game ripped off Breath of the Wild.
It's true. Breath of the Wild is the first game ever created. It is so powerful that it like caused ripples throughout the time-space continuum, and it looped back around. But Breath of the Wild that's a good one. Remember, for a while, the game had like 104% adoption rate, which is higher than the system.
Well, I mean, but it also was a previous generation game too, so it was a.
By the way, that's a clue for the game. I'm going to say.
Nobody had the Wii U.
Tears of the Kingdom.
No, I gave you a clue.
I know.
Was also a last gen game that was on the Wii U.
Mario Kart?
Mario Kart 8. That defined the Switch 1 generation. That was the best-selling game on that system by far, I
mean, it had everything they need. It had everything that they were going for. Like, they were constantly updating it, adding new characters, fixing it up. They pretty much made that game into like a service game.
Yeah. And the reason I say defined it is because basically because to me, Nintendo's always been just giving fans what they want and not really doing anything innovative. And that's what I kind of see that game as. Although I still do think Breath of the Wild is a good answer too, because that game, that sold the system initially. But Mario Kart 8, that is legit the best-selling game on the system. So I think that defined the Switch generation. Again, which is ironic because it was a fucking Wii U game. What's up, Rich?
I agree with that choice, but I have a question.
Yeah.
What about Super Mario Odyssey? Where does that fall on this list?
I don't think it defined that Switch 1 generation because to me, and mind you, it's my favorite game on the Switch. After 3 or so months, nobody was talking about it anymore. It was done.
Yeah.
Whereas,
that's true.
Whereas with Breath of the Wild, people still talk about it, And obviously Mario Kart 8, Rich, that was the whole generation,
But by the way, Tony, can you guess how many copies Mario Odyssey sold?
Odyssey?
Yeah.
Like 15, 20 million?
Testing.
Or around there. We hear you, Adam. 29.
29, that's pretty good. Wait.
Yeah.
I might be getting my numbers mixed up because I thought, and I could be fucking wrong about this, I thought Mario Kart 8 sold 30 million, so I adjusted that down.
Oh, no. Mario Kart 8 sold way more than 30. Let me check. It was ridiculous. Okay, so just so you know, that's where I based my Mario sales from. I was like, if this game sold 30 million, that must have sold half of it or 2/3 of it. So, and you said it sold 30 million. So did Mario Kart sell like 60, 70 million? Yep, 68.
There you go. All right, so I was wrong, but my reasoning wasn't wrong. I was like, Mario Odyssey must have sold at least half or 2/3 of whatever Mario Kart 8 sold. So I was still right about that, Real
quick.
Wrong answer, right reasoning. Go ahead, Adam. Talk for
Does it sound like it's cutting and talking? Testing 1, 2, 3. Everybody talking.
Yeah, you did. When you said 1, 2, 3, it went down.
I don't know what it is then.
Right.
I switched it to standard. It was on crisp. That noise.
You were doing good right there. You were doing good right there. For like what the last 10 seconds, it was perfect.
I did not. It's just on standard, unless I turn it off. Turning it off.
I feel like this is better than what it was.
It is better. I'm looking at the sound signal, whatever the fuck that shit's called, and it's consistently in like yellow or even red. Before it was just in green, which you don't want that. All
right, so I'm just talking. It's off. I turned off.
Yeah, you're good now.
So I just turned it off. I don't know. It was just by default. Again, I haven't changed anything with it.
Yeah, I guess you also just try to talk at a consistent rate too, but it sounded better. Anyway, anybody else have any answer for what game defined the Switch 1 generation.
How did Super Smash Bros. Do?
That's a good question.
I could take a look.
What about? I know what Game Rich is going to say. Amiibo. Well, not Amiibo. Labo.
No.
Remember when people were trying to apologize for that?
I remember that bullshit.
36 million.
Pretty good. That's pretty damn good. You know?
Those Nintendo numbers are no joke.
Nintendo is.
I mean, Animal Crossing. Remember Animal Crossing?
What was Animal Crossing's numbers? I'll say this about Nintendo fans. Those motherfuckers buy games.
47.
Fuck.
So
yeah, they're. Oh, go ahead, Rich.
Yeah, Rich.
I'm gonna have a question after you're done with this question. It's a question for Carlos. Yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
My question for you, Carlos. I mean, you have a Switch too. We never heard your thoughts on Mario Kart World, so I would like to hear that tonight, if possible.
Yeah.
Listen, this is the show for Throw Down Your Questions. You know.
Well, let me start with this.
That is a phenomenal question.
It's good. I mean, if you're into Mario Kart at all, this is a step up from whatever we had. The free roam stuff is pretty fun. The online is ridiculous. I've been playing online almost every day, and I just do like 1 or 2 matches a day. I don't really play like super much, like more than 3 a day. But they're fun. It's tough, man, because there's a whole bunch of nerds online. So I've only won like 2 or 3 matches, so it's pretty hard to to beat folks out there. The introduction of the free roam is pretty good. I like the way that the parkour, I don't know what they call it. I call it parkour. It adds a new dimension to the races. It makes it a lot more dynamic than it used to. Yeah, it looks good. It looks good on the Switch, on the handheld, and it looks good on TV, on my TV. So yeah, I feel like it's a good game. It's gonna sell a lot, I'll tell you that much. But I'll also say this: Mario Kart is not my favorite game out of like the first party games. It's not nowhere close. I'm really looking forward to Donkey Kong. That's the game that I want to sink my teeth in.
Yeah. Now, Rich, I gotta say, man, I'm a little upset that you didn't ask me that question, considering I have a Switch 2 right here.
Oh, wait a second. Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. Well, Tony, yes, please.
Yeah.
Give us more details.
So, I think I said this to the fellas in our text on phone, right? I had no idea that Mario Kart World had end credits. No idea, right? I was because I've just been nibbling with the Grand Prix here and there, like a race here, one there, because I kind of find the game boring, to be honest. It's very good at what it does, but at the end of the day, it's still Mario Kart, and I just don't find that gameplay compelling. So I've just been picking away, one little race here, one race here. So I got to the final when I did Rainbow Road, right? And then I saw ending credits. I'm like, okay, I guess I beat this game. So I went to my I have a little notepad, games I beat 2025 or whatever year, and I put that. But yeah, the game's cool, but it's Mario Kart, so not really that impressive. But I do agree with Carlos. I'm looking forward to Donkey Kong just because it is made by the same, or largely made by the same people who made Odyssey, which was my favorite game. But yeah, the system itself, it pretty much addresses all the technical problems I have with the original. It looks good at 4K, upscales to 4K. If you have a TV with 120 hertz, it makes things look really nice, especially on OLEDs. Looks really nice. Even though I don't use them, Joy-Cons are okay, but I use that Pro Controller. You already know. Pro Controller is legit. And yeah, like I said, I like the fact that games don't look like shit, which is a big problem with the original one. Like, I remember I popped in Tears of the Kingdom just to test it out. I had the upgraded version. My first thought was like, whoa, this looks good. I've never said that with any of these fucking Zelda games, on the Switch. Like even the Breath of the Wild. I remember when I fired up, I'm like, ugh. You know what am I looking at here? You know, and then obviously Tears of the Kingdom, the fucking trailer for that shit had bad performance. I'm like, bro, this is what you're showing off, really? But yeah, so I'm looking forward to Donkey Kong. We'll see about Metroid because I never played the original ones, other Metroid Prime games.
Prime games, yeah.
But I am interested in checking out, and I know this is an older game, but it's been like updated. Super Mario 3D World, because I liked 3D Land on the 3DS, and I hear 3D World is more the same but better. So I may check.
That's a good game.
Yeah, so I may buy that. And I think
Bowser's
that's
Fury too.
which one?
Bowser's Fury. It's like a DLC for that one.
Okay, cool.
Normally, when
My kids like
buy
that
one,
when they finish that.
So yeah, I may check that out because again, I really like 3D Land. So 3D World might be cool. But yeah, again, I think it's a decent enough update. I respect Nintendo for not going crazy. Like, hey, the Switch one did well for us. Just do it again. You know, you don't need to go crazy reinventing the wheel because that's always been a problem I had with Nintendo. It's like they're always trying to do this weird shit. You know. But yeah, you know, Mario Kart, it is what it is. I'm glad I did the Grand Prix so I don't have to play it ever again. The game's just, you know, whatever, you know? Yeah, Carlos, I haven't played online because again, I just don't care enough to, but I have seen people online. Yeah, they're nerds, you know, like they're going ham, you know, doing all fucking like grinding and wall slides and all this other shit. I can respect that. That's dedication. That's skill, you know?
Also,
yeah,
you can get matched up with the senseis, man.
Oh, they teach you?
Well, no, they don't teach you. They destroy you.
Oh, damn, they're not senseis then.
They're not, yeah,
they're bullies.
They're not your boy Kaiju hunters.
That's crazy. All right, I think did we get everybody? What game defined the Switch One generation? I think we got everybody. All right, and that means we're done. So wrapping it up here. Adam, TV Terminal, what's going on?
Doing a Revival and Murderbot. So we posted up episode 3 for Revival. That's based off of the comic. If you know the comic, then you know the show. Walker zombies coming back, but not really zombies, just the dead rising up and trying to live a normal life, and that's not working out. And then we got Murderbot, which is a red herring because the first thing you think of is this robot killing everybody. And no, he's there. He's a security unit. He does some killing, but he's got voices in his head. He's a little out there with shit. So it's a good one. So yeah, TV Terminal, you can check it out. We do our reviews, recaps, you know, throw in some slides so you can follow along. And yeah, that's out there. YouTube, Coalition. Yeah, check it out.
Yeah. All right. Manny, what you got?
Yes. So you know the nostalgia tour continues. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Carter Randolph and myself for a cover series for 7, 8, 9, and 10 of the normal Ninja Turtle series. Obviously, Naruto, TMNT Naruto, would covered by us again. We just recently showed off. This was for me, or a cover for Power Rangers Prime number 9, which is going to be coming out very soon with a cover by myself. Where we should get to see the new Green Ranger suit design, and the VR Troopers are in it. Again, there's also Street Sharks, and then another nostalgic property that I don't think has been announced yet, but there is a cover that I had worked on for that as well.
All right, and Rich, what's happening with the Coalition this week?
Oh yeah, so a lot of stuff happening at the Coalition this week. First and foremost, our very own Mr. Adam Vale. He did a preview for Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3+4. That will be on the website tomorrow morning, so you can check that out. I'm also still covering up the last couple of games from Summer Game Fest that I'm still doing previews for, so you will see a lot of that stuff going up throughout the week. And aside from that, there'll be a couple of reviews coming in the future. There's a couple of games that we're going to be getting access to here soon. And obviously, stuff coming out next month. So stay tuned for all of that. But a lot of things being worked on behind the scenes. So stay tuned.
Good stuff. All right, guys, we're out of here. So make sure you follow Throwdown on Twitch and Twitter. Follow us on YouTube. Join the Discord. And check us out on your favorite podcast app. Links to everything down below. Once again, our show was Tony Polanco. And tonight, I was joined by Emilio Lopez.
See you next time.
Carlos Romero.
Peace out.
Adam Vale.
Good week, everybody.
Brett Murdoch.
Deuces.
Richard Bailey Jr.
Have a good week, everyone.
And Brian Manjoma.
So, in your infinite wisdom and creativity, you created a floating wheelchair.
I saw that. Oh man,
God.
what was that? Dungeons and Dragons, or like what game was that?
World of Warcraft.
World of Warcraft. Jesus,
I seen the wheels and thought that it was levitating. I'm like, this makes no sense. Have one or the other.
Stupid. I saw somebody like a Reddit comment. It's like, yo, just pop 4 potions, you could cure that shit.
Bro, remember when Blizzard made like the best CGI animation in the game? Now they just do fucking in-game cutscenes and shit of people in floating wheelchairs. I don't know what the fuck happened.
You know what happened, but we're not going to say that
done.
on air. You know exactly what happened. All right, guys. All right, guys. We'll see you on Thursday, the day before 4th of July, man. Later.